So the topic that we are learning today is NPR and NCR. P stands for permutation, C stands for combination. So later on I'm going to discuss what's the key difference between these two. So the common application of this entire concept is being used on probability. So you can actually solve probability question in your normal mathematics through this concept. If I'm not mistaken, in India, most of the teacher teaches probability through this combination and permutation concept. So the other thing that was rarely discussed is it was being used to counting cards. Okay, so I'm going to show you a short clip here.
Go check this out.
Jokes aside, okay, let's come back to the topic itself. So the core question for you to ask yourself is, does the arrangement of the variables they give to you matters? Maybe a slight tweak will make it a different result. And the other question is that, did they give you the full details on the option available? Basically, what's the numbers that's available for you to choose, for you to work with? So it might look a little bit vague right now, but when we go to discuss the question, then you understand why did I ask these two questions. So NPR and NCR, okay, N at the front, okay, is actually the numbers of options available. R is the selection, how many do you actually need. Okay, for you to choose NPR means that the sequence and arrangement matters a lot to you, and the details and option available is fully disclosed. So the direct results of NCR will be sequence and arrangements of it doesn't matter, and the details and option wasn't fully disclosed to you. So now I'm going to show you 5 different questions that covers most of the type, okay, or format they will assess you on. So the reason why I cover only these 5 questions is that each of them has similar attributes, but they ask the question, they phrase it differently, then the arrangement, the equation that you use will be different. So I want you to notice all these little details that will affect the results. Do not blindly follow whatever that I taught. Okay, you need to have your own critical thinking and to determine what to use for each and every question. So without further ado, let's get started. So a committee of 6 members is to be selected from 5 men and 9 women. Find the numbers of different committees that could be selected if. So after reading the question, it's time to ask yourself the 2 questions. So first of all, immediately I noticed that they didn't give you the full details of the men's and women's name. Without that, we already narrow down and leans towards NCR. Then the other thing is that they didn't specify anything on the arrangement. Even if they did so, okay, it will still be NCR because they couldn't specifically tell us which man that they wanted. So we can just randomly select anyone from the men's group and put it into the committee members. So when there's no restriction, we have 6 space here for us to choose from. So 14C6 will be the direct results, which is 3003. Looking at the second question, there are exactly 3 men and 3 women on the committee. So since the arrangement doesn't matter already, okay, so let's say the first 3 committee members is filled up by boys. Okay, so boys come out 3 of them, and for the last 3 I took out from women. So my results, I will write it as 5C3 times 9C3. Okay, multiply these two together, and you get your result of 840. As for the last one, there's at least one man on the committee. So this one is actually very similar to what you do in your normal mathematics. The fastest and easiest way is to actually take the total, the one without restriction, minus off the possibility, okay, or numbers of arrangement when all the committee members is filled up by women. Once you find the difference, then you will know the rest is actually at least one man on the committee. So the difference here will be 2,919. Moving on to the second example, a 4-digit number is to be formed from the digits 1, 2, 5, 7, 8, and 9. Each digit may only be used once. Find the numbers of different 4 digits that can be formed if. Okay, so from the question itself, immediately I already know details of the numbers option was fully disclosed. We know what numbers we can work with, and also the arrangement of it will matters a lot, because each different numbers that was selected will be considered as a different combination. So if there's no restriction, so immediately you will know you're taking from all the numbers there. So there's a total of 6 of them. You only need 4. So I took 6P4 and I get a result of 360. Okay, alternatively, okay, this is the other way that you can write this thing down. I actually prefer the longer way because it shows you how the NPR and NCR really works. So for out of 6 numbers, I selected 1 for the first digit. Then out among the 5 remainders, I select another one for the second, followed by the third and the fourth. So we have 6P1, 5P1, 4P1, and 3P1. Multiply everything together, then you get 360. Using the same sets of numbers available, the digit numbers are divisible by 5. So the key thing here is the numbers that we make must be divisible by 5. However, among the numbers option available, only when we set the last digit as 5, then the rest can be divisible by 5. So I preset the last digit over there as 5, so I put 1P1 for it. So out of the 5 numbers left, I select 3 of them to fill up the 3 space at the front. So your results will be 5P3 times 1P1. Or if you were to write the longer method, same thing, I preset the last numbers over there. Okay, so it will be 1P1 for the last digit. So for the first numbers, we have 5, we choose 1 only. And for the next one, we choose out of the 4, choose 1 from them. And the third numbers, out of the 3, we selected 1 of them. So 5P1 times 4P1 times 3P1 times 1P1 equals to 60, which is your final results. As for the next question, okay, the 4 digits numbers are divisible by 5 and greater than 7,000. So same things apply to the last digit. That one must be filled by 5. Okay, however, for the first number now, since it must be greater than 7,000, so the numbers option that is available will be 7, 8, or 9. The 2 numbers at the center, okay, is open to whatever that wasn't selected. So for the first numbers, I put it as 3P1, and for the last numbers, I put it as 1P1. So let's say out of the 6 numbers, you already took out 2 of them, okay, which means there's only 4 left, and you need to select 2 from it to make the equation. So I put 4p2 over there. So the results will be 26. Okay. Alternatively, you can actually add all three combination up here. So I listed down when I selected 7 as the first numbers and 5 as the last numbers. So I put 1p1, 1p1, and the center part will be 4p2. Okay, because we have 1, 2, 8, and 9. So I listed the details over there. You can refer to it and get this question sorted out. Moving on to the next example, find out how many different 4-digit numbers that can be formed from the digits 1, 3, 5, 6, 8, and 9. So again, ask yourself 2 questions. So for sure, the arrangement of the 4 digits matters, and they already give you the full list of numbers that you can choose from. So this question will automatically be considered as NPR. So for numbers option, we have 6 of them and we selected 4. So 6p4 equals to 360. As for the next question, so find out how many of these 4 digits numbers are even. So same thing was being applied here. It's also an NPR question. However, only when 6 or 8 was being selected as the last digit, then only these 4 digits numbers qualify as a even numbers. So there's a preset restriction on the last digit. So I put that as 2p1. Assuming that one of them is selected. Okay, so out of the 6 numbers, I only have 5 left. So the rest will be selected from the 5 numbers. So I put 5p3 at the front. Alternatively, you can break this down into 5p1 times 4p1 times 3p1 times 2p1. The 2p1 over there is your last digits numbers. So results will be 120. So in part B, a team of 6 people is to be selected from 8 men and 4 women. Find the numbers of different teams that can be selected if. So reading from the question, straight away no, they didn't give you the details on the men's and women's name. So we couldn't actually know the full details of it. Okay, the other thing is that they didn't ask you to arrange it in specific way. So this one will be NCR. So since there's no restriction, we have 12 of them. Okay, I randomly picked 6 of them. So it will be 12C6. So your results will be 924. Second question, the team contains all women only. Okay, what this sentence is trying to deliver to you is that all of the 4 women were selected into the committee, which means there's only 2 slots left that we need to choose from in men. So I put 8C2 times 4C4. And the detailed breakdown is actually 8C1 times 7C1. Multiply with 4C1 times 3C1 times 2C1 times 1C1. So the final results from this will be 28. As for next question, the team contains at least 4 men. So minimum requirement for this question is 4 men and above. So the possible arrangement will be out of the 6 committee members, 4 of them is men, 2 of them is girls, followed by 5 of them is men, 1 of them is girls, and all of them is men. To illustrate this out, then I can construct the NCR equation. So the first one goes by 4C2 times 8C4 plus 4C1 times 8C5 plus 8C6. The total will add up to 672. For the next one, we have example 4 here. So the question goes by find how many different numbers can be formed using 4 of the digits 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 if no digits is repeated. So same thing again, different numbers and arrangement will create a different sequence, so the arrangement of it matters, and the full details of the numbers option has been disclosed to you. So this is a NPR question. Okay, so for the 7 digits that we have there, you only need 4 of them, so 7p4, your results will be 840. And for the next one, find how many of these 4 digits numbers are odd number. So the key assessment of this question is on the odd number sides, which means we have to do some restriction on the last digits there. So we have 1, 3, 5, and 7 that qualifies as an odd number. So for the last digit over there, we will set it as 4p1. So out of 7 numbers that we have, we selected one of them out. So the rest we have 6. So 6 is to be filled up the 3 empty space there. So 6p3 times 4p1, then you get the results as 480. Or you can break it down as 6p1 times 5p1 times 4p1 times 4p1. So the results will be 480. As for the continuation, we have find how many of these 4 digits are odd and less than 3000. So for this, we cannot use the previous method that we learned earlier, which is by setting the first numbers as 2 or 1. Okay, basically we cannot put 2p1 over there. Reason being, 1 is also repeated variables that we use for the last digit, because 1 is also odd numbers. So all I can do now is to list down 2 possibilities and add these results of them up together. So I created 2 lists over there. So let's say I selected 1 as the first number, which means the last digit over there will only have 3 options left. So I have 1p1 at the front and 3p1 at the back. So the center value will be 5, because out of the 7 numbers, we selected 2 already. So we have 5 left to fill up the 2 space over there. So 1p1 times 5p2 times 3p1. So for the other combination is that we selected 2 as the first digit. As for the last digits, we have 4 options, which is 1, 3, 5, or 7. So we have 4p1 to represent that. And the center value, same thing, we have 5p2. So add these 2 up, you will get the results as 140. So for the next question, we have example 5. 11 different television sets are to be displayed in a line in a large shop. Find numbers of different ways the television can be arranged. So reading from this statement, this is really different from what we have learned earlier. It is a NPR question despite they didn't give you the full details. So it falls under the gray area because they uses a specific term, okay, which is the 11 different television sets. So from this statement itself, okay, it determines this is a NPR question. So 11p11, you will get 39,916,800. Of these television sets, 6 are made by company A and 5 are made by company B. So I listed down a combination over there, where if I start with B first, so set B, set A, set B, set A, listed it all the way down, then you will realize there's 2A standing next to each other. So this is the arrangement that we don't want to happen, as stated by the question. No 2 sets made by company A are next to each other. So instead of just following this, I listed down another one. It starts from A. Okay, for that, it satisfies the question since there's no two television from company A were next to each other. However, the NPR is slightly tricky, and this is where, for those students who like to skip writing all the results as one, struggles to understand. This is why I always recommend for you to go through the longer route for this particular question. Better to be safe than sorry, right? So I listed it down as 6P1 times 5P1, 5P1 times 4P1, 4P1 times 3P1, 3P1 times 2P1, 2P1 times 1P1, and multiply it with the last one, which is 1P1. Okay, so this particular question here, the alternative method will be listing down 6P6 times 5P5, but it's harder to understand, so I didn't list it down. So your numbers of combination will be 86,400 arrangement available. So I use this blue color to represent set A so that you don't confuse yourself. As for next part, a group of people is to be selected from 5 women and 3 men. So same thing, the arrangement of the group doesn't matter, and the details of the man and woman name wasn't fully disclosed. So find the numbers of different groups of 4 people that have exactly 3 women. So exactly 3 women means that out of the 4 options, 3 must be women and 1 selected from men. So we have 5C3 times 3C1. Then you get your results as 30. As for the next part, calculate the numbers of different groups, at most 4 people, where the numbers of women in this is the same as the numbers of men. So for this, okay, I listed down a possibility over there where 2 is from women, 2 is from men. So it will be 5C2 times 3C2. Okay, if you stop here, then you fall into the trap of the examiner. So the keyword in this question is actually at most, which means that it can be a group of 4, it can be a group of 3, it can be a group of 2, or just simply 1 members only. So the other possibilities will be we selected 1 woman and 1 man, as it satisfies the question of having the same amount of men and women. So we have 5C1 times 3C1 for that. So the total will add up to 45. So that's pretty much it for this particular topic. Remember, always ask yourself the 2 questions, and do take note that there's special condition to be applied, like the one in the television. So normally students fall for it and so uses combination to answer that question. So over and over again, I couldn't emphasize enough trying to apply some logical thinking. Okay, ask yourself the question over and over again before deciding on whether to use NPR or NCR. Each of them has their own special attribute that you need to follow, but the more you practice, the better you get. So if you got any question regarding this concept, feel free to leave it in the comment section. Or alternatively, you can actually join the free Q&A group that I have on Facebook. You can post your question there and get answered. So that's pretty much it for this topic. You have friends that's struggling to understand this particular topic, feel free to share this video to them, and I wish you all the best in your upcoming examination. Thank you.